So today's lesson is on timelines. So to access today's lesson, if you're in Planbook, you're already accessing the video, which if you see, I said it would be posted later. And if you're watching this, that means it's posted and you're watching it. The next thing you're going to want to do is to go to number 2 and click this link down here to open up your note sheet. You will need to fill the note sheet out today. So you're going to click it, and it's going to pull up an assignment in Teams. You'll choose whatever class you are in. It pulls it up, then you're going to go and you're going to look for Timelines Notes, and it'll look like this. So you're going to click here where it says Timeline Notes, and it'll open up right in the web browser. So this is what you're going to be taking notes on today here. You need to click Edit Presentation, Edit in Browser. Once that pulls up, then you can edit in here. You will just click in the box, and then you will start typing your answers. And then you will move to the next box and type in your answers. If you accidentally move a text box, you can just move it down to where it belongs. Once you get finished watching the video and fill out all of your notes, then you will click Close. If you see, it automatically saves what you type. So once you finish your notes, you will click Close, and then you'll come up here, and on yours there should be a Turn In button. Click the Turn In so that I know you completed that. Now we'll get started on timeline notes. A lot of times you will see a timeline that looks like this. It's typically a line with different events on the line. The big part of a timeline is that these events are placed in the order in which they happen. So if we think about a morning routine, I'm going to write down some things that you might do in a morning routine. So on this timeline, we have get up, drive to work, put on shoes, brush teeth, breakfast. Now, are those items in the order in which they would happen? No, they are not. That is one very important thing about a timeline, is the timeline puts the events in the order in which they happen. So to make this correct, we would need to change a few things. We would change drive to work to breakfast. We would change put on shoes to brush teeth. We would change brush teeth to put on shoes. And then finally, we would have driving to work. So again, the definition of a timeline is to place the events in the order in which they happen. So if you're typing in your note sheet, timeline is placing events in order according to when they happened. Now you'll also see timelines that have dates on them. we might have 100 BC, 50 BC, 0, 50 AD, and 100 AD. On this timeline, there's two important things on there. We have BC and AD. We're going to talk about what those letters mean. So on your note sheet, you have BC equals. And what BC stands for is before Christ. As you see in your notes, BC is used because the calendar we use was created by a Christian monk. So he set up the calendar to revolve around the birth of Jesus. So the year 0 tells when the birth of Jesus was. And then the monk said all the time before that year is BC, before Christ. Now looking at that, if we had a date 75 BC, I want you real quick first to think, would 75 BC go here? Or would 75 BC go here? Let you think on that for a second. 75 BC would go here. 75 is halfway between 50 and 100. So the 75 goes there. And it's BC. So it's before the 0. Remember the B, before the 0. On this timeline, we also have AD. And on your note sheet, you have AD equals. You guys get to learn some Latin with this one. AD stands for Anno, A-N-N-O, Domini, which means the year of our Lord. So again, that monk decided this was 0 when Christ was born, and everything before was BC, and everything after was that Anno Domini, which means the year of our Lord. So everything before the 0 is B, everything after the 0 is AD. Thinking again, if I had 25 AD, I want you to look and think of where you would put 25 AD. Think about which side of the 0 you'd put the 25, and then between what numbers you'd put 25 AD. So since it's AD, we know A, it's going to go after the 0, and 25 is between 0 and 50. So the 25 AD will go here. 25 AD. Now sometimes with dates, you will see a C with a period. And that stands for circa. Here's some more Latin for you guys. Circa means around or about. So if you would see C 1980, that means circa 1980 or around 1980. That could mean, maybe it was 1978, Maybe it was 1985. We don't know. It's around 1980. So the C equals circa, which you'll see on your note sheet, which is Latin for around or about. This is used when we don't really know the exact date. That's circa. So when we're thinking about the numbers on the timeline, so looking at what you guys have, we have a 2000 BC, a 1000 BC, zero, 1000 AD, 2000 AD on your note sheet. If we look at the numbers before the zero, I want you to think, do these numbers go from big to small, or do they go from small to big? One way to help you remember what order to put the numbers in. So BC goes from big to small. If you're looking, it's 1,000 years before zero, 2,000 years before zero. So the numbers go bigger as you go this direction. Now looking at the AD, think about it if they go from small to big or big to small. The AD numbers, do they go from big to small or small to big? AD goes from small to big, because it's going away from the zero. How many years after the zero? Now what I want you guys to do on your note-taking sheet is you're going to decide where two dates would go on your timeline. You have a line with a blank box here, and you have a line with a blank box here. So I want you to fill those two boxes in with these two dates, and you're going to decide which date goes where. I want you to decide where 1500 BC would go. And I also want you to decide where 500 AD would go. So 1500 BC, would it go in this box or this box? And 500 AD, would it go in this box or this box? I want you to type your answer into the note sheet. Once you get that done, that completes your notes. So again, that's now where you will click the close on the PowerPoint and then click turn in, so I know that you are completed with that. The next thing you have to do for me is to create a timeline of your own. So I also have, so you're going to look for timeline of your day, and then we'll bring up this information. As you see, I have put that you will need to put 15 events in your day, put down what time and the name of the activity. You need to include a title and 5 pictures. So you're creating that timeline on a separate sheet of paper. So you're going to use just some paper that you have at home to draw your timeline on. And then I want you to take a picture of that completed timeline, and then you can send me that picture through Teams or through an email. Or if you're able to or know how to or want to, you could also create this document on Word and send it to me as well. If you have a different idea of how you could create it, let me know and I can work with you on that. And then down below, I provided my example of what you will be doing. So to see the example, you will click here, and I'll pull up my example. So this turns sideways, so we'll flip it the right way. And here's my title. It says Mrs. Askew's A Day. And then I've created my line. I have 15 different events. I wrote down the times for each event and described what I'm doing. So like I put 6 o'clock, wake up, 6:15, get dressed, 6:30, drink coffee, 6:45, eat breakfast, 7, drive to school, 8:10, 5th grade first hour, 9:30, 6th grade second hour, 10:45, lunch, 11:18, prep, 12:27, 5th grade fourth hour, 1:30, remote learners, 3:30, drive home, 3:45, help daughter with her homework, 6 o'clock dinner, 9 o'clock bed. So you'll just choose 15 different things that you do throughout the day, whatever your morning routine is, and then your schedule throughout the day. Maybe you have a practice after school, maybe you have chores that you have to do, or maybe you like to sit down and watch some TV, do some homework, maybe help with chores, and then the 5 pictures down below. I'm not looking for a grand masterpiece, just a little sketch. Like my picture for wake up, I drew an alarm clock. Drink coffee, I drew a coffee cup with hot coffee. Lunch, I drew a fork and spoon. Prep, I put a pencil. And bed, I drew a bed. So just including those 5 pictures. Again, once you draw that on a separate piece of paper, you can take a picture of it, send it to me, or you could create that on a different Word document if you'd like as well. And then you will be sure, once you send it to me or upload it, you'll click the turn in button on your side.